Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play Cast. This is actually episode 164. 164. I'm going to get the numbers right this week. 164, because I didn't fix a typo from 2 weeks ago. So 166 next year. 164 right now, December 16th. You're watching it on the 17th or later. Coming at you. It's our last Free-to-Play Cast before the holiday break, and then we hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate. Have a great holiday. Stay safe. And we'll be back with the Free-to-Play Cast in January 2016. But we've got a show today to get through. I'm Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man. On the line also, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
Doing pretty well, and I definitely plan to celebrate Force Awakens Day.
Woot woot.
Soon, yeah.
Yes, if you are watching this on the 17th and you have the pre-screen tickets, have fun, don't spoil things. I'll see you Friday, and I'll spoil everything.
No, don't. I'm not planning to see it right away. So.
Also on the line, the first free-to-play cast that she'll officially be on. Quinlan Bowers, you know her, you love her as Q. How are you, ma'am?
I am good. I brought a guest host today. He's chilling over here.
I see that. He's very, very relaxed over there.
In his very expensive cat box, I'm sure.
Yes.
What is that, Staples?
Yes.
Yeah. You bought the...
And my baby blanket from when I was born, so.
Well, welcome Q to the show. We actually tried to get Q on the first show back in November, and then computer issues prevented that. So it's nice to finally have you. You'll see her once or twice a month. From here on out, we'll be cycling people in and out, just like we used to do in the good old days. Let's get started and go to the news. And everybody is wearing pants.
Yes.
Really, I am, honestly. For once.
Well, let's start on a down note. Try on Worlds. Yeah. Devilian Online. Finally went into early access and then launch on the 10th. Servers came down on December 12th for a little bit of a restart action, and didn't exactly go as planned for one particular server. This is the best part of this to me. It was only like one server.
You're just reveling in their pain.
I'm not, though. I mean, I would like to play me some Rift. And, God, it's just when it rains, it pours for this company right now. And it was one server, Seadrift. When it came back up, things weren't quite what they should have been. Lots of naked people running around, Q.
Why do you go to her for that?
People aren't supposed to be running around?
No, not usually. Not
This is Age of Conan, never mind.
right. Not en masse.
What was the game that Gary always liked, where you spawn naked?
That was Age
Mortal
of
Online? Wasn't it Mortal?
Oh, yeah, Mortal Online did it too, but you remember what was it?
Well, Rust doesn't.
In Age of Conan, they had issues with people spawning naked in a lake.
God, okay. That was a while ago.
Remember that?
That was a while ago. There's a throwback. So yeah, people lost gear, lost progression. Apparently something happened during the restart that rolled the server back and caused all kinds of issues. We got emails about it the day it was happening because the MMO bombers out there know that someday I would really like to play Rift, and they're just determined never to see me play Rift again.
Yeah. Yes, the people who sent the emails were enjoying it. Wait, there were a lot of smiley faces in these emails. It's like, wait, you should be mad about this. And
yep.
You're grinning.
So I got this. It's past 2 a.m. for me, but I have a funny story about Trion's new game, Devilian EU server Seadrift. It started with me and my friends noticed that mail in-game delayed for a few hours. Well, game delivers rewards and stuff with mail. Some of my friends could not log in with their main characters, so it was a pretty big deal, and Tryon said that they would fix it and restart the server. It would take an hour. After an hour, they said they'd need about 30 more minutes, and after 30 minutes again, they said they needed another 30 more minutes to finish work, and nothing out of the ordinary there. That happens with just about every game. We'll have it fixed in an hour. We need some more time. We need some more time. But it gets better when logged in and 95% of my stuff is gone. Chat is filled with screams for help, sarcasm, and swearing for Trion's failure. Almost everyone is naked in towns, missing armor, weapon, talismans, cards for bonus stats, gold, even levels. I lost like half a level. I was level 6 levels. I was 6 levels from max level. But people have lost like 5 to 10 plus levels. And the funniest thing is, posting from Trion's forum, hello everyone, we have had reports of some loss of progress and items from the Seadrift server. If you've lost items, please contact our support team and we will assist with restorations. If you've lost XP, we will be addressing this issue globally for the Seadrift server. We'll keep you posted on our progress within this thread. I wonder how many days people will wait for items. Smiley face. People reveled in it, Jason. What were your initial thoughts as we kind of watched it unfold?
You know, to be perfectly honest, I know you said when it rains it pours, but I was sort of like, you know, Trion hasn't had a major disaster for a while, so you know, this is not so bad in terms of just in terms of the overall timing of it all. But yeah, I mean, this just
you felt they were due almost.
Yeah. Well, it's like I wasn't like, oh man, Trion again. It's been like over a year since Arcade launched, so you know I've almost forgotten about that. But yeah, I mean, this can't happen, right? And especially the weird part of it being that it only affected one server. And even another one thing they're talking about is some characters cannot use their skills.
Yep.
It's like, what does that have to do with a rollback?
Yeah, and there's still issues on that front. I popped into the forums right before the show on that specific issue where people can't use skills and are having issues with quests. And that still seems to be a little bit of an issue here and there. There's a lot of this, though, and Trion, to be fair, has tried to do, I mean, the best they can on this one. They're compensating people with all kinds of different stuff depending on where you were in the progression trees and what you had going and what you might have gotten at the time. So they are passing out a lot of compensation, but there's a lot of this that they have to look at each account individually, Q, and that's where this really starts to get messy.
Yeah, I was actually reading in some of the comments on the piece we posted about it earlier this week, and they were saying that, yeah, they've given them stuff, but it's not the right stuff, and they're still not where they need to be, and the box that they were supposed to get really didn't have anything useful in it for them in particular. And you know, it's just like, I mean, it's already bad because you've lost all this other stuff, and now it's like, okay, well, we're replacing it, but not necessarily with equal stuff at this point. So, I mean, I can totally see why, you know, they're upset about that, because I would be pretty livid.
If only it was EA, Jason. If only it was EA.
I don't even know how you begin to find out, you know, what everybody had or how much to compensate them for individually. It's
such a weird thing. Like, okay, you know, they're not the developer, and so they're working with Bluehole Gino, however it's pronounced.
Gino.
Yeah, however it's pronounced.
Gino got
Gino. They're working with Gino to get it fixed.
So.
What's that?
I go with Gino when I read it.
Bluehole Gino. So they're working with them on the development side, saying, you know, what the hell happened here? It is really odd that it's just like one server. And they put an experience buff in there for the weekends so that people could try and gain things back faster. But then that's well, I can't play on the weekends because that's when I do this. It's just so messy all across the board. And it's the last thing Trion needed right on the launch of the next big game that they were the publisher of and not the developer of, was some type of development or rollback issue. And boom, here we go again.
And see, that's where Trion always has its problems. It's like the stuff that they're like, we completely developed this all by ourselves. Nobody else is involved. They're usually fine.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see this type of stuff on this type of scale with Rift and Trove and things like that, but Arcade and Devilian Online and hell,
I mean, going all the way back to End of Nations.
Yeah, which
it was just.
Yep. It's what was the other one? It wasn't theirs, but
Warface.
Yes, which was on their site for like a week, and then they were like, "No, we're."
I remember getting the preview of that at PAX Prime back in 2012. Yeah, they were all hyped up about that. But
the only thing I could ever think about Warface was, God, what a terrible title for it.
It was pretty lousy.
It is a bad game. Or bad name, sorry. It's kind of a bad game, too. But I don't know. I mean, we're going to watch it just to see what happens. It's kind of calming down now. People are still miffed because they're getting, like you said, Q, they're getting stuff that doesn't apply or isn't what they needed or isn't what they had earned at the time, and you got to believe Trion's going to do the best they can. There's still things I don't like about Devilian Online as far as a free-to-play game, and that is directly on Trion as the publisher and their market. I mean, the inventory, Jason, you wouldn't even play this longer than half an hour.
Especially being an ARPG where everything explodes into piles of loot, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit rough on that front. I enjoy the game, but it's just a bit too restrictive for me. It's one of those, it's a Star Wars The Old Republic for me. If I'm going to play it, then I'm going to pay to do some certain things on it. And to me, it just hasn't captured my attention enough to warrant wanting to pay for that stuff, knowing I feel I'm going to need it. So I don't know. We'll watch it over the next week or so and see how it all shakes out. It seems to be stable now, and they're in the process, but it's going to be a long process of touching each and every support ticket that comes in, because they, as they said on their forums, they can't help you on the forums. They're not the support agents. You've got to log support tickets for some of this stuff.
On the bright side, at least, it's that time of year a lot of companies bring on, temporary employees for the holidays, so now they can have 8,000 people they can hire on to help figure every person's individual thing.
Look at you finding the silver lining. It's job security.
It's like Toys R Us,
But it's a game launch. They should already have a lot more people than they would normally
now
have.
They need more.
Launch.
And what's funny is it launched. They went through their whole head start. It launched on the 10th. This issue happened on the 12th.
Start launch.
What's that?
Just head start launch, right? Not
No, head start was on the 8th. The full launch was on the 10th, and then the restart happened on the 12th.
Okay.
So it was like right after full launch, all of a sudden, and they've been testing it for so long too. It's just bizarre. Came out of nowhere.
I don't think a test would have found it if it's only on one server.
Yeah.
Like, there is something particular about that server that broke it.
Might be worth paying for a server transfer. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, there are people who are saying, I don't want to keep playing if I'm going to have to worry about losing all my stuff again. So.
Certainly. And if you're on another server and this didn't happen to you, you're like, oh shit, I don't restart these servers ever. Please, just don't ever update the game. Just leave them this way.
Back that server up.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, it is our last show of 2015, so here's what I'd like to do, and I don't care if it's free to play or not, and we invite you as the viewers to do this in the comments on YouTube and the comments on the site as well. You don't have to limit it to free to play, guys, but we're going to go around, and I want to know from your perspective, what was the biggest, the most surprising, the most outlandish, the most eye-grabbing attention gaming story of 2015 for you? If it's free to play, great. If it's not, that's okay too. We're talking about the industry as a whole on this one. We'll start with you, Q. What was the story this year for you?
It might seem like a cop-out, but the whole Konami Kojima thing.
You stole mine!
Was just insane.
Now Mike is scrambling.
I am scrambling, so you're going to have to talk about Konami Kojima for a second.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. I remember, during the time writing all of this stuff about Konami, we would write something. It'd be like, Kojima's left Konami, and then a month later it'd be like, Kojima's left Konami, and we're like, wait, didn't we just write that a month ago? Didn't we just say he's gone, he's officially gone? And then Konami comes back, oh no, he's not, but none of his stuff is anywhere. We're taking his name off, we're ripping the little fox off the logo, or the fox logo off, all of it's gone. He's not even allowed to come sign stuff. I mean, dude went out by himself to go sign things because Konami wouldn't let him.
He wasn't at the awards show either.
No, they barred him from the award show. Straight up barred him. I think they waited till a day or two before it actually happened. The event was supposed to happen, and they sent the lawyers going, yeah, you're not allowed to go. I'm so hoping now that he's got his own company that when the award shows come around next year, he totally goes just to Konami. I just want him to roll up on stage whenever they do something.
announced today, well, officially confirmed today, his first project, what looks to be a PlayStation exclusive. So, time to get a PS4 if you're a Kojima fan and you don't have one already.
And how weird is it watching a video completely in Japanese where it's mostly a white dude speaking?
Right?
I didn't watch the video, but yeah, that would be...
Yeah, so you're watching him, you're like, wait, oh no, it's him. It's him. Okay, it's not me. It's not me.
It's like when I watch like subtitle anime and the character says a phrase in English.
Right.
Like one time when someone was actually like speaking to an English person, she said, "Hello, how are you?" And I was like, okay, that was just weird.
Well, no, this was the way they did the video. Like Kojima was there, but they waited till the very end to pan the camera over to him and show him. So it's one of the people at Sony doing this entire spiel about, and before they get to the end where they're like, and it's Kojima, and it's all in Japanese and with subtitles, and you're like, but you're a white dude. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Jason, your story of 2015.
How long do you need me to go here? Because if
just as long as you want to. I'm still looking now. Damn it.
I'm not going for a single particular story, but I'm going with what I remembered us doing. I think last year, like around the end of the year, I don't remember if it was a topic like this, or if it was a bomb or some other user comment or whatever. We talked about a question of the week, where we asked, what do you think is going to be the thing for next year? Because we were talking about how MOBAs have been such a big thing for a year or two at least. It's been every other week there's a new MOBA coming out, and we said, what is it going to be next year? Is it going to be still MOBAs? Is it going to be something else? I think some people brought up card games. Other people brought up something else. But anyway, what I do recall is that nobody really brought up like the arena-based shooters, which is sort of like, it seems like that's what everybody was announcing this year or working on. Because you had Overwatch, Paladins, Lawbreakers, Gigantic. We talked about Battlecry, maybe not ever actually happening, but that's another one. Nosgoth is almost kind of in that same vein. That seems like sort of the new thing that I could see a lot of people doing, because it doesn't require wouldn't see like a ton of resources like a MMO would, something like that. They can get that competitive scene going, so they can try to tap into that esports market. Even Nosgoth is like the only one of these that's really out right now, other than Team Fortress 2. But in terms of like newer games, Nosgoth, they're doing their leagues, they're doing their competitive esportsy kind of stuff as well. So they're trying to go along that same way a little bit. So that's kind of what I think is going to be maybe like the new thing for 2016 and beyond, is companies trying to come up with those kind of games in place of the MMOs or the CCGs or the MOBAs or whatever, because it's still kind of a newish feeling. It's still kind of a newish feeling to it until a lot of those games come out and just flood the market or whatever. Because even when Paladins was announced, I remember a lot of people getting down on that, like, oh god, it's another one of those. Like, we were already getting into the fatigue level of that. But now that you play it, you think it's a lot of fun, and it seems to be generally well liked. So I think there's still room to grow and to have those kind of games. That could be what a lot of companies steer toward, in the future.
And I think I got one.
Okay, you good?
See, this is the drawback of not sharing those. Like, we share our bombs and stuff, but I figured, you know what, I want everybody to be surprised by everybody's thing and question and ask things. But that's the drawback, is that if I don't go first, there's a potential I could be throwing it to somebody like Q who's going to shank mine.
Sorry.
But no, it's all right. I'm going to go with the world of free-to-play. What I think is one of the biggest stories in the free-to-play world, maybe not gaming as a whole, but the free-to-play world in 2015. And that has got to be, to me, Nexon dropping all of its NCSoft stock and pretty much ending a 4-year attempt to take over this other company. And they were coy about it for 3 years. No, we're not trying to do it. And then back in January, they said that they did have an intention to try and take part in the management of NCSoft. And things could have gotten a bit dicey here. We're seeing another company, Ubisoft, isn't it? On the verge of trying to fight off a hostile takeover by Vivendi, isn't it? I'm going to double check that one to make sure my names are right. But I believe that's right.
Yeah, I think that might be right.
Yep. Yep, Vivendi ups the stake in Ubisoft, and so Ubisoft's trying to do the same thing, fend off a Vivendi overtaking. But Nexon finally backed out and said, you know what, screw it, we're selling all the stock. They took a beating on it, though, Jason. It was what? They lost like 30% of the initial
like
worth.
$150 million or something worth, yeah.
Would have been interesting to see what would have happened there. I wonder what would Guild Wars 2 look like under Nexon's control.
Let's not get into my nightmares.
You're gonna give people nightmares.
Yeah, you're making me feel.
What would WildStar look like? Well, I don't know. Whatever.
But I was thinking when you were starting off your stand, I thought you were going to talk about the year that, and something I thought about there was the year that SOE/Daybreak had.
Oh yeah.
They just transformed from there, changing the name,
that was a
getting
big
rid
year
of
for that.
Smedley, and having not launching anything, just H1Z1 and Landmark and EverQuest Next was still kind of chugging along.
Smedley thing was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole
him kind of flipping out on Twitter
on the hackers and stuff. Oh boy. Yeah, but hey, kudos to NCSoft. I mean, they hung in there. They just barely hung in there, by the way. It was like, remember some backwaters trading with Netmarble stock, and they just barely were able to hang on to controlling aspects of the company for a little while there. But now Nexon backing off, and there you go. Your Guild Wars 2 is safe, Jason. For a little while. All right, let's move on. Speaking of Nexon, there's a segue for you. And that was one that was not planned. We're going to talk about a little bit of a review here for Ghost in the Shell First Assault Online Standalone Complex. It's a free-to-play game published by Nexon, developed by Neeple. It's Neople. People is people, so Neeple. I mean, I'm going to guess that's the pronunciation.
Just go with it.
Now, I played it quite a bit, actually, for the first look, and a little bit afterwards as well. I actually took down the first look. I'm awful at first-person shooters, and I was particularly bad at this one. Like, normally I get, okay, I'm like mediocre, right? I'm not going to go in for a first look on a first-person shooter and just guns a-blazing, tear it apart, and be the best player. But I stay around a 1 KDR usually. This one, for some reason, I was like, you know what? I haven't done a cold first look in a while, and I like doing those sometimes. Never booted the damn thing up. Let's just boot it up and record and see what happens. I'll talk and see what I keep and what I don't. And it was nasty. I got slaughtered. I played 3 different matches, and it took me the 3rd match to finally be above a 1 KDR. So I'm actually reaching out to a friend of ours, Q, who is a little bit better at first-person shooters than I and could do the first look a little more justice. I'll get that up as soon as it's done. But if you happen to see it before I took it down, I was awful. I was awful. I know I was awful.
Too bad, but now you're mentioning it.
These 2 guys on the panel here know I was awful. We can move on.
Tim for being as bad at shooters as I am.
Yeah, she actually messaged me that. Hey, thanks for being bad. And then was like, we should play Paladins so I won't feel bad for being bad. And I said, hey, I'm actually good at that one, damn it.
Is it against your religion to aim down your sights, or was
it was for the first 2 games. The third game.
The third one I saw you started.
Yeah, the third game I started to figure out the aim, the iron sights, actually using my character's ability. To be fair, I didn't like the character's ability that I used in the first 2 matches, and it was just a speed boost. It really didn't do much for me. The way I was playing, which was terribly. But anyway, so here's my main gripe with this game. I'm going to get it right out here now, and you guys can tell me if I'm nuts or not. I hate that this has the Ghost in the Shell IP on it. I absolutely hate it. I hate in particular that they're aiming at the standalone complex, and that what we ended up with was, to me, a run-of-the-mill team-based shooting PvP game. I don't like that. I think the IP is so much bigger and so in-depth. They really, really, really could do something cool with Ghost in the Shell, and I'm kind of disappointed that this was it, Q.
I mean, it's one of those things where I think with most anime of any type, your first thought for it is, oh, RPG of some sort. Any kind of RPG with an anime. It did look like a fairly ordinary shooter watching you play it. I mean, there's a little bit of hacking, the big robot-y things.
Yeah.
There's that kind of stuff, like a few little things. But I mean, for the most part, yeah, it just looked like an average kind of shooter, which is fine. I don't really have anything against there being a Ghost in the Shell shooter, but I do think that with a universe like that, there's other things you can do that would be more fun.
Jason?
And this is kind of what I was getting to before, where companies are saying, I wouldn't want to make this huge, giant MMORPG. It's going to take 23 years to create and whatever. We're going to have 8 million bugs. We're going to make something a little more self-contained, a little shooter kind of thing. So on that level, I don't have a problem with it. And I thought they actually did. I actually liked how they really used some of the abilities from the show. We had different things like the cloaking and, like you said, little tanks and so on and so forth. I thought that was kind of neat. But yeah, in general, it did seem kind of generic. I used to play when I was just before, like 5-6 years ago, when there wasn't really a whole lot of free to play. I jumped into Combat Arms, which was Nexon's military shooter game. Played that for like a week or so, and this feels like Combat Arms with the Ghost in the Shell skin slapped onto it. Even to the point of, I know you were bad, but man, you'd walk around a corner and just instantly be killed. And Combat Arms was just full of aimbots and wall hacks. And I just can't help but think that there was some of that going on. I know you're bad, but you're not that bad.
There were a couple of deaths that I questioned. And I didn't say something in the first look, but there were a couple of deaths. I don't think there's too many cheaters in the game yet. I mean, it is a game that you have to pay to get into. And so, yeah, some people may cheat there. I'm not going to put it on hacking or anything like that, but there were gameplay things that did seem a bit off to me. That, some aspects of it weren't as twitchy, and then there were other aspects of the game that were twitchy as hell, and I was dead before I had even seen somebody or knew where a shot could potentially come from. There was one in particular in the first match where I flanked around on the right and was getting into position on a window, and I rode the wall all the way up to the window frame, and I got plucked by somebody that was out the window to the right that I really don't think should have been able, maybe see me, like the barrel of the gun or whatever coming towards the window, but it was just such a weird shot to actually get off a single shot kill that it was a little for me. I liked the game. I went back and played it after the first look some to see if, because I was getting a feel for it after the third match to see if I could hold my own a little more, and I was able to, and I debated on re-recording a first look after I had played some more. And I figured, you know what, I'm just going to get somebody that's better at this, because this is a bit twitchier than I prefer. And so I'm going to get a friend of ours, Troy Blackburn, if he's available to come and do a first look on that. And we'll post it again in a day or two as soon as that's ready to go. All in all, graphically, it was cool. It wasn't anything spectacular for me. I did like how when you are picking your different classes, that you can get like a preview video, and it was anime, where you could watch that. That was kind of cool, and some of the cutscenes were a little neat. The 3 game modes you have a death match, you had a objective-based one where you had to capture objectives, and then the third one was a push and an attack and a defend mode where you're trying to put a bomb on their thing and hold it until it blows up and win a bunch of rounds and you win overall, and then now you got to be the defender type thing. So a couple different game modes, couple different character types to pick from. You're going to have more of both of those as beta tests and progress and we go into launch. To me, I would hate to rate this based on the way I play, because that would just be totally unfair to it. That, and there's really no cash shop to speak of yet. There is a shop in there, but everything is bought with the in-game currency right now.
But that was something I wanted to notice, too, 'cause after your first 2 games when you went into it, you had like 800 of the currency.
Yeah.
And I'm okay, yeah, you're not playing real well. Maybe a regular player who played 1 game would have like 800 after a match.
Right.
And even like the attachments were like 40,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, Really? So I would have to play at least like 40 games to even get an attachment, much less a weapon, which is like 250,000.
Yeah, and to be fair, most of those prices and durations of how long you can use those things.
Oh God, they're not even permanent.
There are permanent ones, but most of those prices, I would imagine, will probably change based on that type of stuff. Because in the Founders Packs, in some of the Founders Packs, you get those coins. Like the $30 Founder Pack gives you 500,000 of the in-game currency.
How well can I farm for free?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just they want you to buy the Founders Pack so that you can buy the money and get them there. All in all, I don't know. I'm going to wait for Troy to play this one a little bit. If I rated it right now, to me it's just a run-of-the-mill shooter, and it looks like a ton of other things. It just happens to have the Ghost in the Shell tag on it, so I'd put it at about a 6.5 on my little scale there. Q, what are your final thoughts on that game? And shut up, dog.
I mean, mostly I just watched you play, right? So, like I said, it really just kind of looked... It looked like it might be a fun shooter, but it just looked like it didn't really have anything special going for it.
Jason?
I like Ghost in the Shell well enough that I think I'll give it a shot when it goes out free to play and just see, those things like that, like how bad the hacking is, how much of a grind it is. If those put me off, then I probably won't bother with it much. But if it's at least okay on that level, I might jump in once in a while.
For those of you waiting for the first look and you missed the one that I posted, don't worry. In a day or two, we'll get you a better first look by somebody that's a little more Twitch shooter based than I am and can do the game justice. My first look really wasn't fair. Let's go over to the weekly bombs. Oh yeah, Q, welcome to the show. You go first.
All right, I'm actually going to give my bomb to Hi-Rez this week because they announced yet another tournament that I can easily attend.
Gee, about that shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, well, these are actually the most comfortable shirts ever. I love the Smite tournament shirts because they are way too comfy.
So what tournament are we going to now here?
They actually announced the first Paladins tournament already, and it'll be in spring.
I'm so winning this, Jason. I'm gonna win.
You're gonna win?
I'm gonna win.
You need to find a team.
I need to find a team.
Said that.
Yeah, we already got Zach. So
I got Zach. I got Q. We could probably we could get Troy.
We could get Troy and Justin.
And we could get Justin. There's 5. That's 5. If any of you want to be Fernando, though, we got to throw you out of the team.
Oh, so
that's my primary. That or Ruckus.
See, I'm debating right now between Pip or Eevee.
Ugh. I
hate Eevee.
I hate Eevee. Oh, look, there's 9 clones. Oh, shit. Jason, you're up.
I'm first going to give an A-bomb to Paladins because I couldn't download it. Tried over the weekend, but it just wouldn't work. Anyway, my real bomb is to Winter's Day in Guild Wars 2, which the patch for that just went live yesterday. A lot of fun. Got all the usual stuff in there. Got a neat achievement that lets you earn the Winter's Day shoulder, so it's not a cash shop thing, which is nice. It's a neat thing you can do. It shouldn't be too difficult except for the one part, which I'm giving an A-bomb to, that you have to have 10,000 of these festival drinks you get out of presents and then consume them all.
Good Lord.
First of all, the price for them on the trading post is incredible because people you need 10,000 of them. People want to get that achievement like yesterday. That'll probably go down, but even so, I just got a question. What's the point of having a thing you click on 10,000 times to get the achievement? What's the radical next generation gameplay that's involved in that? That part of it I just don't get.
I was going to say, there's nothing new in that. There's an achievement in one of the Saints Row 4 things where you just lick stuff.
Well, yes, but this isn't Saints Row 4. Guild Wars 2 is supposed to know better.
I'm
just saying.
I'm going to give a dub bomb to Star Wars The Old Republic. I know, right? There, nice shirt. Giving previous subscribers a free level 60 that you get to keep to just try out the first chapter of the Knights of the Fallen Empire story. Now, to me, that's some serious confidence in the story product that they're offering, that they want that to try and sell the subscription rather than an advertisement. And just think about that. I mean, they're foregoing an initial $15 on the sub, and they're foregoing the cost if somebody wanted to buy a boost, and they're just saying, look, if you subscribed in the past, come on back, we'll give you a 60. You could play the first chapter. Granted, it's not all that long, but it's going to give you a flavor of what we're doing with this new expansion. And I kind of like that. It shows some serious confidence in what you said was the meat and potatoes of your expansion, this revitalized story, by just giving that stuff away and saying, I'm going to let the story sell a subscription here. Kudos. I hope it works out. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. What's that?
You're weekly reminded that leveling content is still completely relevant in MMOs. has to be there.
From the viewers, Elusive X Treasure says, my opinion on in-game holiday events. We were talking about them last week. I like having them around, even if it's just for the option of being there for RP or just to mess around with. I, too, am one that has to do it if there's a pet, a mount, a toy, or dimension item involved, but a lot of times, if there's nothing there for me, I don't do a whole lot of them. I do have a couple of events I really enjoy. One is Brewfest in World of Warcraft, mostly because of my alcoholic rogue. The other major one being Rift's Autumn Harvest, because a I can never get this. Q, help me out.
Atrophinius?
Thank you. I stutter on that all the time when I'm playing Rift. My favorite NPC, he's always been the best dialogue, and even if there isn't anything I want from the event, I have to do some of it just to hear his candor. Very good. Go ahead, Q.
Okay, so Cal himself, that poem was fucking brilliant, De Bomb to Shadow Wolf. I have no idea what poem we're talking about, but...
Yes, it was.
Go watch last week's show if you don't know. Go ahead, Jason.
Miso X Shiru says, Dub Bomb to Maple Story reboot server. It is not without its flaws, but it is a great start in the direction Nexon needed to go a long time ago. I am really enjoying the game again after not playing for a few years, and I actually feel like spending NX on cosmetics for once. All right.
Frelm says, Da Bomb to Warframe's Update 18 Second Dream, one of their most flawless big patches ever, great content added, thrilling reveals about the Tenno, right on the spot, even if the RNG gods keep punishing me as I try to get Ivara. Warframe and your RNG, it's the only thing I hate about you. Q!
There is something weird going on. Like, it just sounded like a plane came really close to crashing into my house, and now there's sirens.
All right, let's hurry up, because Q might not be with us much longer.
Sailor Naruto 39, that poem made me feel stupid for pre-ordering Black Desert. So
and you should.
this poem.
Go ahead, Jason.
Slash Kuman says, Da Bomb to Magic Man for making an early day thing again. Loved it, hope to see more of it again.
Talking about the poem as well last week, doing an early free-to-play cast thing on a current free-to-play cast.
Okay.
Yes, you will. And somebody else commented about gameplay. I think we've answered this on 3 straight shows. It works, and it's nice to show gameplay during this show when we're talking about something like Ghost in the Shell, and boom, we just happen to do the first look on it. In the broad scope, it really just doesn't work because we end up getting more comments about how the gameplay footage we're showing is out of date because we're talking about League of Legends and the first look that the videos I have access to that are ours that we're not going to get in trouble for using are so outdated that you comment on that. So it's just easier for you to look at our ugly mugs for 40 minutes. Question of the week last week, what's your top free-to-play title of 2015 and why? Niabari said free-to-play MMO of 2015 for me would be Terra. I kind of saw this one coming from a few people. You had the expansion released at the very end of 2014, which was quite a bit of content to play into 2015. There were 2 new classes added in the Gunner and the Brawler, a few new dungeons released in 2015 as well, along with updates and seasonal events. All this content is free, too. So kudos to NMAS for continuing to keep things humming along. I think that's a good choice. That's a good choice. They had a damn good 2015, I think. Q.
Lunar Temple, Warframe, why? Because it's really the one free-to-play game I've never really stopped playing, and by that I mean uninstalled for months on end. It's pretty much always given me a reason to want to come back, and thus I felt no need to ever write it off like I have with Vindictus, DCUO, Champions Online, Neverwinter, etc. From the system overhauls to the new weapons and new frames to the new tile sets and mission types, I just feel like it's the best free-to-play game out there.
Keep going.
Number 2 is Terra, for no other reason than finally having a suitable replacement for what turned into the huge disappointment that is Vindictus.
Terra just scraping the viewer rewards this week. Go ahead, Jason.
Sky Shadow. Question of the week. My favorite free-to-play game is Heroes of the Storm for more reasons. Many more reasons. 1, I'm a Blizzard fanboy. Always good.
That helps.
2, the game is trying to create a team. It's trying to give the player a reason to act as a team, not as Leroy Mid or feed you all noobs type of players. And 3, because it combines universes and gives a variety of different maps. That sounds like the Blizzard fanboy, but okay. Though it is a game that nailed the final nail in the coffin. The players with fancy skins and accessories have some to none skill and/or have any idea how a team works. Oh, I got an epic skill. Oh, right.
That sounds like me playing that game. That's why you've never seen footage of me playing Heroes of the Storm. Cameron Dodd says top free-to-play Smite. Cue somebody in your neck of the woods here. It's the only game I play every day. It's also the only online game I play that my friends are forced to party in. Would be a different choice if I could get them to party in some other MMO.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Jason, take the next one.
Shabala Ding Dong.
Yes!
Says Path of Exile is number 1. Shabala Ding Dong.
What a great username. What a great username. Go ahead, Q. I told Q yesterday that I was going to make you say that one.
Yeah, he really just... Emoxy Gaming, answering questions of the week, WildStar free-to-play.
I did not see that coming as far as anybody's choice. It's not a bad one in my book. They had a good 2015, the last quarter of it, by making the free-to-play conversion, but wow. Of the year? I don't know. NilRealm 5669, Terra would have to be my pick for question of the week this week. While not all of the gameplay things I would like fixed in the game have been fixed, a good majority of them have. Gameplay is smoother. They've given a better leveling experience than when I first started playing the game. The new Brawler class is also very fun, and I haven't been able to stop playing it over the past few days. If you had asked this question last week, I would have said Smite. But with the release of the Brawler, I've been playing a lot of Terra and enjoying it. Smite is right behind, though, giving me and my friends fun, unique game modes and a decent amount of different characters. But it hasn't completely drawn me in like Terra has again recently. So I guess congratulations to Hi-Rez Studios and Smite, En Masse, and Terra. A couple games that really just had a hell of a 2015.
I'll give a little bit of a preview for the top 50. Smite and Terra both rank rather highly on the list.
Yeah, and I would assume the Path of Exile does. They had a great 2015. There was some games that really knocked it out of the park on the free-to-play side this year.
I'm trying to find WildStar on the list. I'm sure it's somewhere.
Question of the week for this week. Let us know what the best gaming gift you ever gave or received this year was. So if you've already passed out some holiday cheer or you've received some holiday cheer and it has to do with the world of gaming, let us know about it in the comments below. You got 2 weeks. There's no excuse for you to not tell us about your gifts and put your weekly bombs there. Let us know D-bomb for something good, A-bomb for something bad in the world of gaming in the comments below, or come on over to mmobomb.com and put your comments there. Jason, happy holidays, sir. Where can everybody find you?
Thank you, Mike. You can find me on Twitter at WinterInformal. And just to remind you of one more thing, Shabada Ding Dong.
And you, Q.
Twitter at Quinlan, and just kind of floating around the net.
I'm Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man. You can follow me on Twitter at MagicMan1, MAGICKMANN1. Or, of course, come on over to mmobomb.com. Check out all the free-to-play goodness we've got there, all the giveaways and everything. We're on the back end of a server reconstruction here, so give us a little time. We got to sort out a few little bugs on some forums, but we're back up and running. Come and check it out. Happy holidays, gang. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.